Take it easy now. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that make me. Let's talk about sex. Come on. Let's talk about sex. Do it. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy KevOnStage with the lovely and luxurious Miss KevOnStage, and it's time for a Love Hour with the Stages. Real quick, want to let you guys know something. This is not a YouTube video. This is a podcast. We are officially on iTunes. Woo! Clap it up. Many of you have been asking, can you record this? Kev, can you make this a video? This is not a video. This is a podcast that we are placing on YouTube because that's where most people know me from. So right now, the link in the description below will take you to our podcast on iTunes, where you can find today's episode and the brand new episode. So what we're going to do is place the latest episode on the podcast on iTunes, and then the week after that, it'll come up on YouTube. So if you want to be up to date and ahead of time, download the podcast on iTunes, because it's about to get real in these streets in 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, my lovely wife, Miss KevOnStage, a.k.a. Melissa Fredericks, a.k.a. Toledo, Ohio's finest, is going to... Toledo, Ohio, where she's born. She's going to kick us off with the first topic of the day. Take it away, beautiful.
But Kev, before we start, you keep changing the name of the thing.
It's Love Hour. Oh. The Love Cast.
No, but then you said Love Hour with the Stages today.
Okay. Final, once and final.
I've been hashtagging Love Hour, Love Cast.
Love Hour is the name of it. This is not a podcast.
It's a love cast.
It's a love cast entitled Love Hour.
The Love Hour Love Cast.
The Love Hour Love Cast.
You don't like it.
It's too much. It's too much. We're going to call this Love Hour. The Love Hour
Cast.
No, the Love Hour Cast is weird.
No, it's not, because you have Love Hour Live, you have Love Hour when you do your rants on Twitter, and then you have the Love Hour Love Cast, which is a podcast.
Okay. The Love Hour Love Cast. What? It only took 3 episodes to figure out what our title was going to be.
Tell us what you think.
Love Hour Love Cast.
We don't know.
We need hashtagable things. That's the problem.
I hashtag Love Hour Love Cast.
Is that 2 hashtags or 1?
No, it's 1.
Hashtag Love Hour, hashtag Love Cast.
LHLC.
That's... Oh, 1 hashtag Love Hour Love Cast.
Yes.
Okay, but that's so long.
The Love Hour Love Cast.
But I don't think anybody else is doing.
That's exactly. So it should be.
Is that all us?
Yeah.
Okay. Love Hour Love Cast is all us. There's nobody on Instagram that has it. I don't think there's anybody on Twitter that has it.
No, Love Hour Love Cast.
Okay. Love Hour is used on Twitter. That's not us. I bet you Love Hour Love Cast is not used without us. So let's take a look. Love Hour Love Cast has never been tweeted.
Okay, people.
Love Hour Love Cast.
Our official hashtag.
Official hashtag.
I feel official.
On the set. Cuz.
Okay.
On Crip. Love Hour Love Cast family.
I gotta download Twitter again.
No, you don't have to. Just use Instagram.
Okay. So today's topic is about sex.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Shout out to Salt and Pepper.
Shout out to Salt and Pepper. So I'm going to read a question from our listeners, and it is, seriously, do men think about sex all the time?
Yes.
I can barely get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom without hubby looking for some loving. Sometimes it's cute, but sometimes a chick just wants to go to the potty and go to sleep. So, do men think about sex all of the time?
Let's define all the time first.
All the time is all the time. God is good.
All the time.
And
think about sex all the time.
No, that's just wrong.
Okay, we're going to keep it 100 on the Love Hour Love Cast. Hashtag Love Hour Love Cast on Instagram and Twitter. We're going to keep it 100. Here's what I'll say. A large portion of men think about sex a large portion of the time. Okay, I don't want to say all, because there's no absolutes in anything. And sometimes men or sometimes women do what you think men do. As for me and my house, think about sex a lot. Thought about sex 3 times this morning before I had been awake an hour.
2.
Yeah.
I wanted to do an experiment this morning to see how much he'd think about it, but he didn't want to partake in my
I didn't want to partake in it because I didn't want to give it up how much I think about sex, but I'll do it. How about I'll do it for next week's podcast. Love cast. I will. I'm gonna tell you right now. I think about Here's how it works. At least with me and probably other men like me. I'm sure me and Aunt and Jay have had some conversations like this when we've been on the road a lot. We think about the future chances we have of having sex with our wife. Probably most. Not like the act of sex. It's like, okay, we had sex on Friday night. Tonight, what do we have? Movies late. We have a late movie. Probably not going to get none. Sunday night, if I'm in home by 6, might have a chance. Plotting out the rest of the week. Tuesday looks good. Thursday, maybe, depending on how late we stay up watching Scandal and or How to Get Away with Murder. So we're more plotting than just like actually thinking about the physical act of sex, at least in my case. I don't know about all the time. A lot of the time, though.
A lot of the time.
But then again, like when I'm at work, I'm not like, oh, sex, spreadsheet, sex. It's not like a huge, huge thing, but it will come into your mind randomly and often. Unless your wife's on her period, then okay, well, she started Monday. Let's say like maybe by Sunday, Monday, Tuesday from now. But for the most part, I hate to break it to you. It's absolutely 100% true. It's not all we think about, but it is something we think about a lot of times. And also, and Liz, you can probably attest to this, if you get up and go to the bathroom and I'm awake now, I'm going to take my shot. I'm going to take my shot.
Yeah, but what did she say? Sometimes a chick just wants to go to the potty. What did she say?
That's it. Sometimes a chick just wants to go to potty
and go back to sleep.
And go to sleep.
Amen, sister potty.
It's hard because, I feel like it's not even, it's not even conscious. You know what I mean?
Well, it's the way that you're wired. So get into your facts that you found out.
Okay, so there's the myth. There's this myth that, and I had heard this a lot actually. There's this myth that men think about sex every 7 seconds. So we did a little research. And if that were true, that would mean we think about sex 500 times an hour and more than 8,000 times during the 16 hours you're awake. And that's just ludicrous. Not the rapper, the word. And so we did more research. And the 7 seconds thing comes from Kinsey researchers. But let's give you some more hard, no pun intended, hardcore facts. Researchers did some study and it found that 54% of men said they think about sex several times a day. 43% responded a few times per week or just a few times per month. And 4% said less than once a month. Meanwhile, 19% of women said they think about sex every day or several times a day. 67% responded a few times per week or a few times per month. And 14% said less than once a month. So if we average that out, that means a man thinks about sex about 19 times per day or once every 1.26 hours. And to compare that to what other things men think about, the next thing is food 18 times and sleeping 11 times. Women, it is sex 10 times, food 15 times, and sleeping 8.5 times a day. So Liz, how often do you think about sex?
I would probably fall in the a few times a week category. Actually, I might fall into the few times a month category. Well, no, I would say it's more than a few times a month, but less than a few times a week. I don't really know how to
So like once a week?
Yeah, more like that.
Now, what is that thought for you?
Depends.
Man, once a week?
Well, and yeah, I wouldn't say it's that much. Or, I wouldn't say it's any more or less than that. I mean, on average. Right. But I would say that if you just stay right there for a moment, that that's why for women it feels like it's every second of every day.
Why?
Because your numbers are exponentially higher than it is for women.
Yeah.
If you fall onto the like me or maybe even once a month or whatever have you, then it's going to feel like it's exponentially
because it's almost like 10 to 1. If I'm thinking about it 19 times per day or 10 times per day and you're thinking about it once a week, that means it's 10 to 1.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking about it 10 times more often than you are.
Right.
So even if your man only acts on that half of the time, it's still 5 times more likely.
And that's why it feels like so much more. So obviously it's not true that it's, what did you say? All the time. every day, but it feels that way because we're wired so differently, and we're on polar opposites of the spectrum.
Absolutely.
Opposite ends on the spectrum.
And the thing is, your husband cannot even, or man, I don't know if you guys are shacking up out there. We're just going to keep it honest for everybody. But your husband, or at least for men, for me, I cannot be thinking about sex, right? And say I'm reaching for something in the cabinet and Melissa grazes past me, in front of me. I'm now thinking about sex. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I wasn't thinking about sex, and I'm just like, did she do that on purpose? Oh, you know what? I don't even know what I was thinking about anymore. I would like to go into the bathroom and minister to her in the biblical way. Know her biblically. So that's a lot of times what happens. And your wife doesn't even mean anything by that. You could just be like looking at her and be like, dang, she looks good. Sex now, please. Like I sometimes feel like it's very caveman-like.
It is.
It's very caveman-like. You know, we keep this 100 on this Lovecast, right? We don't. Kids
keep it 100, Kev. But,
kids tune away.
But
with tact.
Okay.
With tact.
Okay.
You can wake up in the middle of the night, 2:00 in the morning. Your wife is completely asleep, and for no reason, your reproductive member is like already thinking about sex while you're asleep, and then you're like, is she asleep or is she sleep? You know what I mean? So sometimes it's like on a subconscious level to wake up with your member. Disrespecting you, I should say. We got to come up with some code words.
Yes, you do.
What's the flagpole when it's at
half staff?
What's it when it's all the way full staff?
Sure, full staff, half staff.
When your member's at full staff, then now you're thinking about sex, and your wife literally is thinking about REM sleep, and you're like, man, I feel like that's physiology.
Absolutely,
playing
I was just gonna say we're just wired differently. Men and women are just plain and simply wired differently. So those are kind of the background facts. And then she had a part B of her question, and she says, how can I turn down sex without making my husband feel rejected? Sometimes he pouts, but I'm tired and not in the mood. And we discussed this because I came to the conclusion that the very nature of turning down sex is a rejection. So I don't know that there is a way to turn it down without your husband feeling rejected, but I don't know if Kevin came to a different conclusion.
I wish I could give you something that would make you feel better, but there's really no way you can turn your husband down without making him feel rejected. And here's why. When your husband is thinking about asking you for sex, he already is thinking more than likely she's going to say no. So in his mind, he's prepared for rejection. So when you do say no, you're really just confirming the rejection he was already prepared for. It's like when you're a little kid and you're like, I want to ask my mom for McDonald's. You know, for the most part, your parents are going to say no. And at one time, they're like, fine. Then you're like, oh my God, they said yes. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's what it feels like for sex. It's not as dramatic as that. But for the most part, I would venture to say your husband is expecting you to say no. So when you say no, he's going to feel rejected. Because here's what happens, right? You have this physical thing that's going on in your body. And you're just like, pent up energy, sexual tension. And when you say no, your wife, that energy doesn't go anywhere for your husband. It's very difficult to now be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to go to sleep, and pretend this didn't happen. It's very difficult to think about anything else. It's hard to go to sleep. And, it's not like, oh, I'm exhausted. Let me just fall asleep. It takes some time. So he's dealing with that rejection for, I'd say, at least 10 to 15 minutes. So there's definitely no way. Here's what you don't do. Here's how you don't make it worse, though. A lot of women are like, not tonight, but for sure tomorrow. So if you say things like that, your husband is like, okay, bingo. Like, I can hold out for now, but tomorrow, when tomorrow comes, like Daryl Coley said, when Sunday comes, I won't have to. So your husbands are like, for sure. And then for whatever could happen, you could have a headache. You guys could get shot in the arm. Your husband is expecting sex that night.
I would hope if I got shot in the arm that you would be a little more, but okay, keep going.
No, he's like, take some morphine.
Boy, if you don't go figure it out.
Take some morphine and let's get this party started. No, I mean, barring some unforeseen accident, but if you're just too exhausted or whatever, now he's going to feel doubly rejected. So I would caution you against that. What I would say is this. Women, studies have shown, I don't know the number, we didn't do the research on this, but I would venture to say men are the aggressors of sex 72% of the time.
Probably more than that, but yeah.
77.5%. I need specific numbers.
But you don't know.
81.3%.
That's it right there.
81.3% sounds good.
81.3.
Of sex is initiated by men. So if you know you've turned him down a couple nights, surprise him. He's watching the game. Not the game. Depends on what the game is. Regular season, maybe. He should more than likely turn the game on. But he's just watching TV. You come out the shower butt naked, glistening. You jump on him and say, I want you right now. And then you let that happen. He's going to forget about those rejections for a little while. Because now he feels wanted. And he feels like, man, she wants me. Like, whoa. You know what I mean? So it's not going to take away the rejection feeling. But it is going to make him feel wanted. And that's really... I feel like if you're afraid of rejection, what you really want to do is feel wanted.
Is rejection, underneath the rejection is the feeling of not being wanted?
Absolutely.
So therefore wanting you will over...
Yes.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes. And see, the women, I think, and you can answer if I'm mistaken, but I don't think women mean to reject the man. They just don't want the act right at the moment.
Well, and the other thing is that it's hard for women to understand because physiologically, is that the way
That's
to say
it? You've been to college.
We don't have that same feeling of pent up energy.
Right.
So we can be on and off just that easy. Where for a man, once he's on and he needs to like slowly come down to a simmer. Women don't have that same, our bodies are just wired differently. And so it's difficult for a woman to really truly understand that it's going to take you 10 or 15 minutes to come down. You could be, I'm thinking, I wake up in the middle of the night like, I think I want to. No, I'm too tired. And bam, I'm back to sleep. Like, it can happen that quick.
Yeah.
For a man, it like just physically, it doesn't happen that way. And because it doesn't happen that way for women, sometimes it's difficult to understand. So we don't really mean to reject you. It really is more about the acceptance of sleep, because that sleep is it'd be so good and so necessary.
We are keeping it 100%. I feel like the greatest obstacle to my sex is sleep. Like the fact that one of the main reasons I want to be able to work full time and you don't have to work is so you can not be tired. Like I want a maid, I want, a cook so that you can be like, I haven't done anything today. You want to have sex? I feel great. And I'm going to be like, yes. Because if I could double my salary and afford a maid and all that stuff, then I'd be good. But, and here's the thing. Men can be tired too. But but sex overrides
everything.
Exhaustion.
Yeah.
I could fall asleep, and if you're like, hey, babe, you're in the mood? Yes, I am in the mood. Yeah. I haven't slept in 72 days. But I will take this sex, and then I will go to sleep. And for women, it's not like that.
No.
They'll be like...
Sleep, please.
Yeah, you can put your arm on me if you want. And see, here's where y'all women mess up. I'm going to tell you where y'all mess up.
Tell us.
Y'all trying to cuddle, and y'all try to scoot close and put your booty on us. Don't do that.
Yeah, but sometimes we just want to cuddle. Y'all don't know how to just take a cuddle for what it is at face value of a cuddle. Y'all got to make a cuddle. Maybe she's secretly trying to tell me that she wants to have sex, but she doesn't want to initiate, so she's put her little booty on me, and I'm gonna just no.
That's like telling a shark, I'm just gonna throw this blood in the water, but I don't know if I'm gonna have. There's no fish attached to this blood. Just enjoy the smell of blood. So I know you're hungry. You haven't eaten. You want to kill a dolphin, but here's some blood in the water. Just hold that over it while I go to sleep.
Everything is not about sex. Sometimes we really just want to cuddle.
So do we.
No, but
after
you guys
sex.
No, y'all don't want to cuddle after sex.
Yes, we do. Absolutely do. No, as long as you're not hurting my arm. That's my problem with cuddling. One arm goes dead. You feel great and warm. My arm is tingling, and I'm wide awake, by the way, and you're snoring and like you feel great, and I feel like I'm gonna be disabled by the morning, and I can't drive stick with one arm. Okay? And what if I want a fast car? I want a fast car, and I can't get one because we've been cuddling, and my arm fell off.
Okay. So women, is that where we're going next? How do we overcome this?
Yes. Do you know any way? Maybe is there a way that you feel? Do you feel bad if you're choosing sleep over sex? Do you think about what the man says?
No, because it is hard to understand because it's something that doesn't happen for us. Like physically, it really doesn't happen for us. So it is hard to like fully grasp that concept. It's like a man trying to imagine being pregnant. Like you can have like a general idea, but you will never have a human being living inside of you, and you will never know what that truly feels like.
Okay.
So it's really just, it's difficult to really, I mean, you can get a general, like I hear you talk about it, and so of course you want to be more considerate of it, but I'll never fully understand it because I'll never go through it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the tough part, because you're really dealing with a physiological thing, because I feel like it might have been better in the 50s and 60s when the woman stayed home. And like, maybe she's still exhausting though, because a full-time mom job is tiring.
I mean,
but at least she doesn't have to get up and go to work in the morning. Well, I guess technically,
she doesn't go clock in at a 9 to 5, but if she's maintaining the household and doing groceries and cooking dinner and helping the kids with homework and all those type of things, you could still really truly be more exhausted doing that stuff. Then I tell you what, I am more exhausted. I feel more tired. More tired.
Yeah.
Working part-time and coming home and cooking and cleaning and helping the boys with homework than I did when you were at home and I was working, 55 hours a week.
Really?
Yeah. Because at least at work, it's like
sedentary.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't really know if I know how to explain it, but I really do feel tired.
Hold on one second. We're just adjusting the microphone. Yeah, I totally agree with you. And here's the thing about that. When I was working from home, just doing YouTube videos, I took the brunt of all that work.
Right.
And for me, again, that's never going to stop you from never going to stop me from wanting to have sex. You know what I mean? So do you feel like we gave her a solid answer?
No. We gave her there's really, we don't believe. I mean, you can let us know your thoughts if there really is a way to,
well, I think we did answer the first part. That is what men think about a lot more than you. It's not all we think about, but it's something we think a lot more than you.
Absolutely.
So it's gonna seem like all the time.
But how can I turn down sex without making my husband feel rejected? I don't think that there's a answer.
There's no easy answer for that, and we're not gonna sit here and give you guys the wrong answer. But I would say that for his confidence, making him feel wanted, and initiating. It's not even about getting fully dressed and having lingerie on or anything like that, because black women gonna have that lingerie on and still have their hair wrapped.
Hello.
Anyway, but it's not even about that as much as it is when he's probably, if he happens to not be thinking about sex and you are thinking about him sexually, it's gonna make him feel super confident, gonna make him feel like a king, and that's gonna go a long way. And I'm not even saying this once a week. I mean like once or twice a month. Once a month. Do that for your man once a month, and it will make him feel great, and it's gonna ease the tension. But for certain, don't promise sex when you can't guarantee it, because I'm gonna tell you 100%. Melissa tries. God bless her heart. She has great intentions, and I'll come home and grab her or something like that, and she'll be like, "Oh yeah, daddy, wait for tonight." Not daddy, but oh yeah, for tonight. And then when tonight comes, dead cold sleep. And from the moment she said, "Oh yeah, for tonight" at 1:11, I'm like, waiting for tonight. Oh, well, you will be here in my arms. So I come out of the shower, she sleep. Now we have a huge problem. Because now, not only am I feeling rejected, because then she'll wake up like, "Oh, did I say that? I was just playing." No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Because I wasn't playing. So from now on, when you say, "Come on, let's go right now," lock the kids in the room, because I don't want to miss this opportunity. And I think women do things like that with the very best of intentions. But you're better off not doing that unless you know.
At the time, you do know.
No, see, but that's unfair.
Okay.
No, don't okay, because you're getting chastised.
I'm not being chastised. I hear what you're saying. I agree with you, but at the time, you're making us out to be a liar when we're really not being a liar. At the moment we say it, we believe, and we're honest enough to say it and believe it. We're not just like stringing you along. And then you cook, you clean, you do homework, and then next thing you know, you be tired.
But that doesn't matter to a man. That's like telling a cop, I didn't mean to rob that bank. At the time I said I'll never commit another crime, I meant that.
That's with intention. Like,
what do you mean?
But because you went in the bank with the intent to rob the bank. You don't like accidentally rob a bank.
It's true. I was trying to think of a comeback, but I couldn't think of anything. So try not to do that because it backfires.
We hereby solemnly swear to try not to do that.
Yeah, because it's just.
It's okay, women. I took the oath.
She took the oath for you guys. So let's. I want Lisa to touch on some advice she was given about this subject early on in our marriage. That was bad advice. So sometimes our tip will be, here's bad advice to avoid.
So one thing that I was told, of course, we always went to marriage counseling, this, that, and the other when we first got married. And one thing that I heard was just to lay down and be nice. And, early on in our relationship and our marriage, I did that. And it doesn't work.
No.
And the reason why is because women tend to think that men just want a warm body. And while that is partly true, they also want an active participant.
Absolutely.
So to just lay there and let him, do his thing, so to speak, and you are not engaged and you are not participating, it is not at all what your spouse, what your husband really indeed wants his sex life to look like. So don't beyond, like, let's say you make the commitment, wait for tonight, baby. Then you're tired and you're like, oh, I don't want to back out on my commitment. So you just lay there, honey, just go to sleep and try again tomorrow and be active. Well, would you say that that's better than?
Okay, so here's the thing. I would rather you reject me and say not tonight than say, take it.
Yeah.
And then just lay there like a dead fish. And, because then the man has the problem of it serves the physiological need.
Right.
But it destroys the psyche.
Right.
Because now it's like, man, she really doesn't want me.
Right.
To do this.
And that's still rejection.
It's still rejection. Now, he's not going to turn down the opportunity for sex because he wants to feel
physically.
that. Physically, he's gonna take it. But then there were times at that time in our marriage when we would be done and I would just be like, that sucked.
Mm-hmm.
That told, like, I told myself, if she does this again, I'm going to turn her down because I'd rather just not. It's better to just say no than to give a half-hearted yes. You know what I mean? Because it makes you feel like.
It's not even half-hearted.
What is it? Less than half?
It's
the least amount of energy.
Yeah, you're just a robot.
You're just a hole.
You're just a warm body.
Just a warm body in a cold hole. This is not for kids. I hope the kids are not listening to this. But if you are. But no, seriously. Absolutely from experience. And you know what? This is the thing that's dangerous about that. You weren't the only woman sitting in the audience getting that advice.
And it's not good advice. But let me help you. I will help you. And this is what I think is better advice. I was talking to one of my friends. We were actually talking about exercising. And she was saying that obviously it's difficult to get up to exercise in the morning. It's not what you want to do. You're laying in the bed and your mind tells you, no, these covers are warm. Stay in the bed with me. You want to be on this pillow. And that's hard to overcome. So what she said was she just moves and she commits her body and eventually her mind follows.
Yes.
So she gets up in the morning and she says, I'm going to do this. And she gets up and she starts exercising. Before you know it, your mind is there with you and you're exercising and you're fully on engaged and you're doing your exercise. You can't really exercise unengaged anyway. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. So I would apply that same advice when it comes to sex with your spouse. And that is, women, when you don't feel like it, because a lot of times for us, like I said before, it's a mind game. Mm-hmm. You have to get out of your own mind. So if you commit your body as a willing, active participant,
living sacrifice,
as a living, holy and
acceptable,
your mind will follow.
Is that always true though? Does your mind always follow?
I would say yes.
That's good to know. That's good.
If you're an active,
yeah.
If you're just laying there and being nice, then no, because you're unengaged.
You're just waiting for it to be over.
Yeah, but I would say if you're an active participant and a willing participant, and you go in it with committing your body fully and wholly, your mind will catch up.
Yeah, and I don't want to scare you ladies if you have been laying down and being nice, but you that's a dangerous thing. And here's why. If that's the sex that your husband is getting, then he's going to question, why are we having sex like this? You know what I mean? Whereas then he start to wonder, man, I might as well just masturbate if this is what I'm going to get. You know what I mean? At least I feel like you know, you don't want to feel like I'm inconveniencing you. You know what I mean? Like, we're supposed to be married. When we were young, I promise you, I didn't know nothing.
You didn't.
I didn't know nothing from nothing.
I didn't either.
You know, and I remember one time saying, and this is when I was feeling myself a cocky young, what were you, 21, 20? Mm-hmm. This is probably less than 2 years of being married. I remember saying this. And I was like, look, man, if you're not going to give me sex, how do you expect me to go to work with these women who look good and tell them no if this is what you're going to do? Like, I don't want you. And I didn't come from a place of malice. I came from a place of.
That is malice.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not being malicious. It's really my true thought process was, I don't want to be out here thinking this with other women.
A woman takes that as a threat.
It's not really a threat.
No.
I don't think so.
No, yes, it is.
I mean, okay, maybe it's a threat, but it's not a malicious threat.
How is a threat not malicious?
Because it's really like what you feel. Like, I feel like malice means I mean to hurt your feelings. And that thought isn't to mean to hurt your feelings. It's a true, I am out here trying to honor my marriage. Now, mind you, this was misguided.
I know.
This was misguided. But
your heart was in the right place, but I can understand. This is truly how I'm feeling, and I'm trying to communicate this to you in the best way that I know how. Granted, it was all wrong.
It was
but I could understand that your heart truly could be in the right place, but it was just
heart in the right place,
words
misguided, and not understanding how that comes across
as a threat.
As a threat. But you're at work and, you know, customers are flirting with you and things like that. You don't want to think, man, my wife don't even look at me like this. That's what I mean by dangerous stuff. Dangerous place.
Definitely.
We don't know who should talk next.
I don't know what you're telling me to
You're
say.
pointing at the list, and I don't know what you're saying. You're saying stay here, but what?
No, I wasn't saying stay here. I was saying we did that.
Yeah. So we're going on to the next segment.
We're having two.
What do you mean?
One?
Yeah. We are.
Okay.
Forgive us, guys.
So can you cut that out?
No, we're just
You're
gonna
not
keep
editing?
it. Yeah. No, we're gonna keep it. This is real life, raw. Love our love cast. We can have mistakes.
Yeah,
Don't
but
falter.
it should be professional.
It is professional. Professionally make mistakes. Rather keep it real. Okay, maybe I'll edit it out.
So what do you want me to do? Read this question? What about?
Yes.
What about if you're okay? So we have another.
We're gonna move on to the next segment, and it's gonna be a question. We usually don't want to do two questions in one, but this one makes sense. So the question reads, "What about?" Oh, go ahead.
What about if you're the female in a relationship of 12 years and have... Okay. Mm-hmm. What about if you're the female in a marriage of 12 plus and after having my second child 3 years ago, your husband turns down sex every time? I have stated this issue to him. However, I don't think he cares. So I'm wondering, should I stay and be unhappy or go?
I feel like you should take the first crack at this.
I mean, we're going off very limited information here, but if you've already communicated this to your husband and you don't feel like he cares, I would feel like counseling. Try some type of counseling.
Yes. I wonder, let's see. I feel like after having the second child 3 years ago hints at either you feel like he doesn't look at you the same or you don't look at yourself
because she's saying she's initiating it is how I'm getting it. So that would suggest that he's not attracted to her because of possible physical changes as a result of having a child.
That's what I'm saying. So he doesn't look at you the same.
Okay.
Like if he's turning you down, and this is why I say there's no 100%. There's generally men ask for sex and want sex more, but it's not the case all the time.
Absolutely.
And there are cases when women are more sexually interested than their husband. I would never just say just because you're unhappy, go automatically.
Absolutely.
I always think that there's more than meets the eye. Generally, men are very unable to communicate things clearly, like my last point. So it's very hard for him to say that. Now, I wonder if you've said, have you said to him, hey, I feel like over the last couple of years since X, Y, or Z was born, you have been less receptive to sex. Would you agree with that? Or, you know what I mean? Like, or you're just saying, hey, I've been trying to have sex with you and you keep saying no. Because if it's the latter, it's hard to answer that without, confrontation.
But you also have to be sensitive to the fact that if it is physical, that's a delicate situation.
Yeah.
And you have to be very careful not to say, well, since you had the baby, I'm not sexually attracted to you. Sir, wrong answer.
Right.
Not after I had 9 months and had this child for you. And now you talking about you're not physically, sir, please get your life together. Like, that's not, that's very delicate and a very sensitive area. But if she's feeling cool, like, hey, boo, come on, let's do what you do. And he's the one, then, again, it's one thing for a woman to feel like, oh, I feel like this, that, and the other since I had the baby. But if she's cool and he's thinking that, I don't know, that's hard, Kev.
That's hard. And it's very difficult for me to empathize with that, just being honest, because I can't envision a situation where I would be like, not tonight. You know what I mean? And what I would say is it's more than likely a symptom of an underlying issue.
That's true.
Like, I'm not sure what that issue is. If there's, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But I think an outside party might be helpful. But sometimes your husband might clam up even more.
What if you do it separate?
What do you mean? Separate counseling?
Yeah. Like
so you're saying send him to a counselor?
No. You could do like marriage counseling together, but then where you also meet separately, where if it is something very sensitive or something he's having a hard time, he can kind of talk through it with the professional. And then when they get back, and then the professional talks to the woman, how she feels, they can kind of digest it, get them back together and kind of, communicate on behalf of the both of them without them both saying it to each other.
Yeah, because I feel like if he says something that, like you said, that's very harmful, then you're not even gonna want to feel like initiating it, and then you get a situation where neither one wants to have sex, and that's a dangerous marriage. I feel like a sexless marriage is a dangerous marriage.
Yeah, I agree.
To be in. Like, we're just, you can go through a spout or you're traveling, like things like that are understandable. But if we're just like not, because we've had some friends who had sexless marriages for long stretches of time, and everyone has ended up in divorce eventually. Well,
because what makes a marriage different from any other relationship is the fact that you can't have sex.
Right. And if you're, I know there's different levels, like as far as what's common for each couple. But if you're, we were listening to a podcast and they had went like 6 years. A couple of our friends had went like 3 and 6 months. They only had sex a couple times that year. And it's not that, and generally one of the parties is not happy with that arrangement. Right. And that's why I feel like it's a dangerous place to be in, because you're sitting there like, and actually both of the two situations I'm thinking of both ended up with one person cheating on the other person. Yeah. And in one situation, the man was wanting sex from the wife and it wasn't working. The other one, the wife was wanting it from the husband.
And then he cheated.
Yeah, and still in both situations, the man cheated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I definitely feel like that is dangerous, because you're already saying, should I just stay and be unhappy? And staying in, like, we talked about this a little in one of the other podcasts, but I don't think there's any situation where you just stay unhappy. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just going to settle for staying in this marriage and being unhappy. I feel like you should always be working towards your happiness. Melissa and I went through rough spells, but I don't think any of us has ever conceded, I'm just going to stay and be unhappy. Right. You're going to voice your concerns. You're going to suggest counseling. You're going to take counseling. You're going to do vacation, whatever you're going to do. But I feel like just saying I'm going to stay in this unhappy place is,
not healthy.
It's not healthy. You know what I mean? And that's not saying you should get divorced.
Right.
It's saying that this situation is making me unhappy. This needs to be changed.
Absolutely.
So that we can both be happy. And then I feel like you can move forward. So I hope that was clear.
I hope so.
To everybody.
Okay, so the last part, sir, no. He's trying to drink my water. The last part, we just want to do a fun little hypothetical question. And the question is, we found this on Facebook for one of our friends we went to college with. If you find out and have proof that your friend is being cheated on, would you tell them?
Before we answer, send us questions, topics, and all that, dear Kevin List, to KevOnStage@gmail.com if you want us to talk about it on the show. Hypothetical questions, topics, and not hypothetical questions. What's the opposite of a hypothetical question?
Real life.
A real life question, like the ones that we answer on the show. They're very important to us in doing the show. So let's answer. If you found out and have proof your friend is being cheated on, would you tell them?
Am I going first?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The reason why is because my loyalty lies with my friend, and if I have proof, I am coming to you with that information. I mean, of course, I'm going to it'll be difficult, it'll be a difficult, I gotta go tell her that, it's not going to be an easy thing, but I do feel like I would owe that to my friend. I recognize that I would probably be putting our friendship on the line, because it always seems like the messenger is the person who winds up being the bad guy in this situation, and not the person who is actually doing the cheating. But I would hate for my friend to find out that I knew and I didn't say anything.
Now, what if there's a situation where they're both your friend?
Like what? Oh, when
the cheater and the cheatee, they're both your friends equally.
Then maybe, I don't know, Kev. Maybe you go to the cheater and say, I'm going to need you to get your life together.
That's what's happened to me before. I've had a friend, well, the first part has happened to me before. A friend of mine, actually it was, my friend was trying to cheat on his wife. And the person he was trying to cheat with was also a friend of mine. And he didn't know this. So person X was cheating on his wife with person Z. Person X was my friend.
I need names. Okay, so
I can't give you. Okay, Sister Cucumber. No, brother Tim's was cheating on his wife, Sister Tim's.
Okay.
But brother Tim's was trying to cheat with Sister Sasha. Brother Tim's didn't know that I also was friends with Sister Sasha.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So Sister Sasha told me.
I know. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And I know the circumstance.
Yes.
All the way together.
Yes. So Sister Sasha was like, hey, I know that dude is married.
Yeah.
You need to talk to your boy. Yeah. So I told him, I was just like, look, and you were the friends with his wife.
Yeah.
I wasn't friends with the wife.
Was I good friends with her?
Not good, but you became friends over time.
Yeah.
But I don't think you were good enough friends to tell her at the time. But I told him, I said, look, man,
you need to get your life together.
You don't need to know how I know this. But if it comes to me that you ever, are in this, situation where you're hitting on this person again, I will tell your wife for you. And he apologized, repented, went to the altar that Sunday, cried, snotted, laid on the ground, rolled around, got covered up with a sheet, took the sheet off because he said I'm a man. He did it all. But yes, so now I'll answer.
But he didn't cheat.
He didn't cheat. He was soliciting cheating.
Yeah.
But he didn't actually cheat. So yes. But at the same time, even if my friend was trying to step out on his wife, I tell my friend. But if one of my friends is being cheated on, I absolutely tell them. Because I would expect if you cheat on me and Aunt or Jay catches you and they don't tell me, where's our friendship?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though Aunt was your friend first, he's my friend more now. But you know what I mean? You would expect that you would respect our friendship and our relationship and be like, hey man, because here's why I think people are afraid. They're afraid of you getting mad, not believing it, and then being mad at you.
Right.
But what's worse? I feel like it's worse for you to find out that your wife cheated
and that everybody
and I knew, than for me to not know, and then your wife cheats on you and I knew. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Did I say the same thing twice?
You did, but we got your point.
Okay, good. So I'd rather you be mad at me for the truth than be mad at me for letting the truth happen and you knew I knew it. Because I feel like you would be upset with me. You would definitely be upset with me. We had technical difficulties, so I hope that came across good. So that brings us to the end of this Love Hour Love Cast. This was fun. This was fun. This is something fun. So again, don't be in the comments talking about we want this to be a video. This is just an audio podcast that we place on YouTube because my audience is strongest there. Eventually, we may not even put it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. I think eventually it'll just be the podcast. But while we introduce it now, I want you guys to know about it. and we'll put the newest episodes will always be on iTunes. So if you go to iTunes now, the link is in the description of this YouTube video you're watching, or if you're listening to the podcast, you're already ahead of the game. But there always will be an up-to-date, quicker version by the time you're listening to this that's already on the podcast. So download this. The reason we do this is so you can download this, listen to it while you're at work, listen to it while you're driving in the car, while you're cleaning your house, and you don't have to sit and be tied to the computer
Looking at a video.
That's the benefit of having a podcast. And we may do some video ones, but that will be a video podcast, few and far between.
Yeah.
This is an audio podcast.
Check it. And if you're not hip to podcasts, they are my new entertainment obsession.
Me too.
I have a job where I sit at a computer all day and we're allowed to listen to our headphones. And so before I was listening to Pandora, but there's only so much music you listen to before you just kind of get tired of it. I'd much rather listen to like talk radio, but our Wi-Fi at my job kind of sucks. So anyway, I've been listening to podcasts, and some of them are just hysterical. I got hooked on Serial. There's some marriage and relationship ones I've been listening to lately. So definitely, if you're listening to this via YouTube, definitely check out podcasts and see what you like. Stay tuned with us, stay connected with us.
Let us be part of your podcasting, because I do the same. Like, I spend more than likely 2 hours in my car every day. About an hour going to work and about an hour coming. At least an hour and a half. And for me, it's better to listen to... I listen to a lot of sports podcasts. I listen to Bill Simmons and I listen to PTI. And, that's what I like. I did listen to Serial. I listened to a couple others. But for me, it's much better because I have Pandora. I have Pandora 1. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of, music on my phone too. But after a while, it's the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
So sometimes I just want something else to spend an hour doing because I know I got a lot of hours in the car.
Yeah.
So
definitely check them out.
Check them out. Let us be one of your podcasts. It's all the rage nowadays.
All the rage.
It's all the rage. This is KevOnStage.
That's me out.
A.K.A. Kevin Fredericks, with my baby's mother, Melissa Fredericks, Miss KevOnStage. And we will see you next week on the Love Our Lovecast.
The Love Our Lovecast.
Grace and peace be unto you.
What?
Till we meet again.
Bye.